And a pleasant good evening to each and every one of you all. Thank you for joining us here on Bedtime Stories, the show designed with the lovers in mind, where we put you to bed but never to sleep with the greatest love songs of all time. May the fourth be with you for those of you who are fans of Star Wars, because today is the fourth. May the fourth be with you for those of you who don't get it. Anyway, it's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer, officially checking in. This, of course, is Bedtime Stories, the show designed with the lovers in mind, where we put you to bed but never to sleep with the greatest love songs of all time. Thank you so much for joining us. And let me adjust my camera so you can see my new on-air sign. It's kind of cool, and you can adjust the brightness of it. It's cool, so cool. Anyway, coming up in our last hour, we do a little thing we call foreplay. Four songs by one of your favorite artists or groups, male or female. That's in our last hour here on Bedtime Stories. Throughout the night, we do a thing we call Who Did It Best, where we play one song by two different artists. And of course, you be the judge as to who the better one is. Unless it's Luther, then it's not fair because Luther always wins regardless. Anyway, we have several birthdays today. One of them, of course, is the matriarch of the Jackson family, and that is Katherine Jackson. Today she is, I believe, 96 years old. Jackie Jackson's birthday is today as well. Yep, she had a baby when she was 21 years old. And that baby, of course, was Sigmund. That's right, his name is Sigmund Jackson. So later on tonight, we will feature music from the Jacksons. Happy heavenly birthday to Nick Ashford. And who else? Yep. So that's Jackie, Catherine, Nick Ashford, and I think one more, but we'll find out later on. Right now, Chicago's own Curtis Mayfield. This is So in Love. So in love. Oh, also Mac Miller. Happy birthday, Mac Miller. The Mac Attack. The Mac of all Macs. so in love. Look like a scene out of a Eddie Murphy movie. Oh, it is good. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm. Salmon croquettes. Duran, happy Monday. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Yeah, good girl. Bubba. My son is joking a white woman in the house. Purple. Mm-mm. When to, they still step and skate off of that song. Love Seasons. Name of the group is called Zoom. Not to be confused by the song that was made by the Commodores. That is Zoom Love Seasons right here on Bedtime Stories. The show designed with the lovers in mind, where we put you to bed but never to sleep with the greatest love songs of all time. I forgot one birthday. His name is Mac Miller. He's also celebrating a birthday. And happy heavenly birthday. His birthday was yesterday to the King of Soul, the Godfather of Soul, Soul Brother number one, all of those. James Brown. James would have been, I think, 93 today or yesterday. But of course, I got to find a slow song by James Brown. All of his songs were up tempo, remember? Yeah. Here's the first of two in a row from Jodeci. That's right. I said Jodeci. Come talk to me, baby. Jodeci. No, baby. Mm-mm. Happy 4th, Duran. Talk to me, talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. Oh, baby. Duran, happy Monday, man. Henry Cooper, yo, Angie. I was just thinking about you, Angie. Yeah, I found Lady G. She was she was at home in her apartment. I had to go over there to see how she was and if she was still, amongst the land of the living. So one of the attendants took me to her apartment, knocked on the door, and there she was. I'm like, I've been trying to contact you for over a month now. You know, I thought you was gone, but she's alive and well, and she made salmon croquettes. Now I don't know if she made the salmon croquettes for me, but there was some there. She know that's one of my favorites. So she was at home, and she's safe and sound. So yeah. So those of you who've been looking for her too. If you've been looking for her too, I found her. Okay. Henry Cooper, Deron Williams, Angie, Martin, Turner. So all the only person I have to find now is Kenesha Fox. So if anybody knows the whereabouts of Kenesha Fox, please let me know. Okay. Morbid facts. Part 241. In the year 2000, pop singer Kirsty McCall died a hero at the age of 41. While she was vacationing with her family in Mexico, a speedboat entered the restricted diving area and headed straight toward Kirsty and her son. She managed to push her teenage boy out of the way just in time, but was run over in the process and killed instantly.
Ulysses S. Grant was also supposed to be assassinated by John Wilkes Booth, but he didn't attend the play at Ford Theater because his wife wasn't on good terms with Lincoln's. In 2013, Florida man Jeff Bush was sleeping in his bedroom when a large sinkhole suddenly opened up directly beneath his bed, quickly swallowing him and his entire bedroom. His brother Jeremy heard his screams and jumped into the hole to rescue him, but was unable to reach him in time. Jeremy had to be pulled out by a police officer, even though he swore he could still hear his brother calling his name. Sadly, Jeff's body was never recovered, and the hole was eventually filled in.
That's scary.
Pemanasan dulu ini, Bren. Melenturkan otot-otot yang tegang dulu, Bren. Baru main. Kalau udah lemes, baru main otot, Bren.
Two in a row from Jodeci, that is, stay here on Bedtime Stories. With your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. Hello to Henry Cooper, Deron Williams, and my sister, Angie Martin Turner, who just got back from Arizona just yesterday evening, which meant I didn't get dinner, but that's okay because I found Lady G and she made some salmon croquettes. So you're forgiven. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. This, of course, is Bedtime Stories. Once again, the birthdays today. Brother Mac Miller, Jackie and Catherine Jackson. Actually, Jackie was born on Catherine's birthday when she turned 21. Jackie, of course, was born Sigmund Jackson. He is the eldest of all of them. And Jackie is what? 77, I believe. Yeah. So, there's been a lot of talk about the Jacksons, about the movie. And there has not been a day that has gone by that we've, not heard from the Jacksons or from Trump and Kimmel. Yeah. Trump and Kimmel. Who will win, Trump or Kimmel? Let the fight begin. Ding, pow. And Trump goes down. I think at this point, Jimmy will just knock him out. I'm just saying. It is your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. Jimmy is a comedian, guys. Let's not take any of that seriously. I mean, Trump made a joke saying that I think the royal family had been married for 63 years or something. And he said himself, unfortunately, me and Melania won't last that long. Now, he said it himself. So, of course, when Kimmel made a joke of it, it didn't go over well. But that's okay. You can't fire somebody over a joke. You'd have to fire half the comedians in the world because they're all joking about Trump and most of the DJs as well. Anyway, and we get away with it because he doesn't listen to us. Yeah, that's a good thing. But Facebook does. Here's the first of two in a row from the Whispers. This is Welcome Into My Dreams. Going out to Monique. She's always in my dreams. You should be tired because you've been running through my mind all day, baby.
Did you hear about this Mexican dancer who almost ruined her whole life after she went to get collagen injections and they used cooking oil instead? Slim May was an entertainment legend during the 1970s and 80s. She was so sexy that she was rumored to have affairs with presidents and superstars. By the 1990s, when she was in her 40s, she became pressed to keep up her good looks. So when a friend suggested she go see a beauty specialist and get collagen injections, she followed her advice. After that beauty treatment, she began to notice that her skin was puffing up and she was developing hard lumps all over her face. So when she went to see a doctor, he told her that they hadn't injected her face with collagen. Instead, they injected cooking oil and baby oil. Within months, her face became disfigured. Maylin was devastated, and over the years, she was forced to have multiple surgeries to try to correct the issue, but nothing ever worked. Learning that she was permanently disfigured, she became so desperate that she thought about ending her own life. But that was a long time ago. Since then, Lin May has made peace with her new face. At age 73, she's still performing all around Mexico, wriggling those hips like the pro that she is. Would you have been able to bounce back like Lin May did? Leave a comment to let me know.
Mm-mm.
Kucing betina satu sedang direbutkan para jantan-jantan garangan ini, Brek. Kok nggak kasihan gitu loh, Brek. Betina satu dikeroyok dua jantan itu, Brek. Lihat, Brek. Kasihan banget ya, Brek ya.
Okay. Oh, it's Tyrone Davis's heavenly birthday as well. Let's not forget Tyrone. Tyrone Davis. American blues and soul singer. Greenville, Mississippi. Aura Lee Jones.
All of your favorite slow jams from back in the day with Al Greer on Bedtime Stories.
If you just say yes. Give it up, turn it loose.
I'm
Tucson. What did I say? I said Arizona. Tucson, Arizona, right? I always wondered how she got to Tucson anyway. What was in Tucson? Ooh-wee. That's what I want to know. Why did she go all the way to Tucson? She could have stayed here. Ooh-wee. Yep. Do the rest. Ripple. What's that? Mm-mm-mm-mm. Mm. If you just only say yes. The Whispers, right here on Bedtime Stories. With your peanut butter brother, Dr. Alan Greer. Angie said she was in Tucson, Arizona on Sunday. Well, she left on Sunday. Yep. My niece or grandniece, I guess you could say, yeah, went to prom. Angie sent me pictures. I'm like, who is that? I'm like, good Lord. Looking like her mama, who looks like her mama. I'm like, good Lord. Talk about her getting old, not us. She's getting old. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. This is Bedtime Stories. Once again, hello, Henry Cooper, Deron Williams, Angie Martin Turner, my sister, and the young lady we call Slim Goody. I saw her tonight at Strikes and Bites over in Lansing. You would have loved that, Angie, because it's a bowling alley, but nobody was there. You could have just picked a lane and just played by yourself. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. Now, there's been some talk about when this guy was born. They give a date of October 3rd, 1937, in Greenville, Mississippi. And then there's another one that says that he was born on May 4th, 1938. Interesting. Okay. He was known as Tyrone the Wonder Boy. Yeah. And signed to Dakar Records, which was owned by Uncle Carl Davis at the time. Uncle Carl didn't like his last name. It was either Fedston or Branch. So he said, I'll just give you my name and you'll be Tyrone Davis, and that's it. Okay. This is a song that was written for him because he got angry because he didn't get the song Shining Star. He thought he should, have that song. So my good friend and brother Paul Richmond and producer Leo Graham, they crafted this one for Tyrone the Wonder Boy, aka Tyrone Davis. Mm, I can never felt. Tucson, like the car, or as I like to call him, the Tucson. Ooh, look at something up there. I don't know what it is. Peach fuzz. That's what it is. Are you in the mood? Yes or no? Well, well, well. I'm a little upset. My son hasn't made any Kool-Aid in the last few days. He or his friend girl here. So, anyway, tonight's question is um, out of all of the sitcoms that you used to watch back in the day, how many people are left from those sitcoms? Um, Here's my list. Good Times. The only people that are left from Good Times are the kids or the children. Jimmy J.J. Walker, Bernadette Standis, and Lil Michael, you know, played by Ralph Carter. They're the only ones left. Uh, Jeanette Dubois, who sang "Moving On Up" for the Jeffersons, she passed. Florida passed. Um, and John Amos, who played James, aka Henry, he passed. Why did I say Henry? If you look back at the old Maude series, well, Florida was the housekeeper. Florida was married to Henry Evans, not James Evans. You know, I know, not a cloud in the sky all weekend. Thank you. Candace Harden, hello, good evening. How are you? So, what was I saying? Good Lord. See a pretty girl, and my mind just goes blank. But anyway, well, yes, Janet Jackson was also on Good Times. Let's not forget Janet. She played Penny, who was the daughter of Willona, because Willona um, ended up adopting her because Chip Fields, the actress, yeah, Chip Fields, who was the mother of Kim Fields, um, she got written out of the script real quickly because, back then they were tackling, so many, you know, so many things. And, one of them was child abuse. And Janet, who had never acted before in her life, she played the stuff out of Penny. No, mama, no, I'm gonna do it again. No. We was crying. It's like, don't do that to Janet. She gonna be a star one day, and she gonna have a big iron on her back. It's like, don't do that. Don't put the iron on her. She put the iron on her. And Malona got on her. And I remember that first time she called her mommy. She said, "What'd you call me?" She said, "Mama." And everybody was like, "Oh, it's so, oh Lord, help me." I'm like, good Lord. So that was one. Now, if you ever watched Maude, Florida was there. And like I said, John Amos played Henry. So, and then let's go back to All in the Family. And Louise Jefferson and George Jefferson lived next door to Archie Bunker and Edith. All of them are gone, except for Sally Struthers. She's the only one left. So it's just, woo, wow. My good grief. Um, and of course, they were all spinoffs from, Norman Lear programs, Good Times was a spinoff from Maude because it brought Florida, that character, to having her own show with John and or Henry. Um, that was All in the Family. And then what was the other? Oh, Louise. Louise and George live across the street from the Bunkers. So they made Sherman Hemsley a black Archie Bunker. That sitcom ran for umpteen years. Everybody there is gone. Remember Alice? Just recently, we lost Alice. She just passed. Before that, it was Polly Holiday who played Flo. Beth Hyland or Howland, who played Dingy, and first to go was Mel. Vic Tate back. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, I love his name, Vic Tate back. Dun, dun, dun. Vic was gone. I think Vic was the first to go, and then the other characters. One of them, of course, also played Mr. Kincaid in the Partridge Family, which, for the most part, most of them are still alive. Most of them. As a matter of fact, Danny Bonaducci just had a birthday. Yes, you are. Always on my mind. Tyrone Davis. Ain't nothing I can do with a woman like you but love you. Suck those toes. Anyway, pay no attention to me. I was on my Instagram account, and I'm sitting there with my sister at Home Run Inn, and everything that popped up had something to do with women's feet. And I'm like, did they know I'm watching this? Or I'm like, this is crazy. Women's toes. Yeah, that's one of my weaknesses. I will admit that. If you want to be an Al's gals, you gotta have pretty feet. I'm just saying. Anyway, Hello to Valita Spence, aka Slim Goody. I saw her tonight at Strikes and Bites out in Lansing, along with Uncle Sam Chapman and nephew Big Papa. It's always a pleasure to see them. And you too, Gene. I know he's watching or listening to Keith Sweat right now. He loves Keith Sweat. I don't know why. There's something about him. Anyway, it's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. If you have any sitcoms that you want to mention and see how many people are actually still alive in there, let me know. They posted all the people who were ever in Batman. Every single one of them is gone. Good Lord. Anyway, yeah, Maud was a spinoff of All in the Family. Yeah, I know that. Thank you, Angie. Janet was on Good Times. Yeah. But how many of those people are still alive? How many are still with us? It's a shame. Here's Luther, first of two in a row. This is The Other Side of the World on Bedtime Stories. Other world. Yes, Maud was a spinoff of All in the Family because Florida was Maud's housekeeper. And she was married to Henry at the time, before they changed Henry's name to James when they started Good Times. So James Evans was Henry Evans in the beginning and had like long sideburns. So um, did we leave any of them out? And Alice, they had one spinoff, and that was Flo. And unfortunately, Flo didn't do so well by herself. So I guess there was a clause that said she couldn't come back to Alice, and that was it. I'm like, dang, that's terrible. So she was out of work. Yeah, she was gone. It's like, okay, go on with your kissing your grits and stuff, and that was it. Of course, Good Times had Florida, and All in the Family had Louise and George Jefferson. Yep. Yep. Oh. But anyway, um, so she was out of work. Thank you, Al. Appreciate you. Shut your pie hole. So she was out of work. Yeah, you just said that. You just said that. Anyway, so were there any other spinoffs from any shows? Any other shows? I'm trying to remember. Oh, um, so and so and Balky. That was a spinoff from Mork and Mindy, I believe it was. Yeah. Happy Days had Laverne and Shirley because at one time Laverne was dating Fonzie, I believe. So from Happy Days came Laverne and Shirley. Yep. What was the original theme song for Happy Days? And no, it wasn't Sunday, Monday, Happy Days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Happy Days. No, it wasn't. No. The original theme song was Rock Around the Clock by Bill Haley and the Comets. Yep. By that time, by season 2 or 3, then they had a different theme song. It's Sunday, Monday, Happy Days, Tuesday. Yeah. So, yep. They only lasted with Bill Haley and the Comets for the first 2 seasons, I believe. Yeah. Yep.
He's the love doctor with your prescription. Al Greer with Bedtime Stories.
Yep. Interesting. So, with it, I know there were Kevin Brooks. What's going on, sir? I can't think of any other spinoffs. Hmm. Yep. Happy Days spinoff was Laverne and Shirley. Yep. Because of course they were still stuck in the 50s, 50s and early 60s, and I think they, got up to the 60s before they, of course, ended the show. I mean, how long can you be in the 50s? The music changed everything. So that was it. Um, Batman had a spinoff. What was Batman's spinoff? The Green Hornet. Yep. Starring I forgot his last name. Van Morris. Van Morris is the singer. Oh. Um, but of course, Bruce Lee. You can't forget Bruce Lee because the cameraman had problems shooting Bruce Lee because he moved too fast for the cameras. They couldn't keep up with him. So, what shows were short lived and in black and white? I'll give you a hint. They both dealt with the macabre. Any idea, guys? I'll give you a few minutes to figure it out. Nobody? Okay. 2 shows that were very short lived and in black and white and dealt with the macabre. Those shows were The Addams Family and The Munsters. Not the monsters, but the Munsters. Yep. They didn't go into They didn't last long enough to go into color until they did you know, like they revisited, the shows, and then they were in color, but of course with a total different cast. Two different women played the niece. I can't think of the niece's name right now, but two different people played her, Pat Priest and another young lady, and then one of them had to leave because she was missing her man. She would have to fly back and forth between New York and California to shoot the movie, so she ended up you know having to leave the show, and they found somebody who looked exactly like her, so it was no big deal. So Gregory Hines, Luther Vandross. There's nothing better than love. The only thing better than love is lasagna and cheesecake. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Alan Greer. This is Bedtime Stories, the show designed with the lovers in mind, where we put you to bed but never to sleep with the greatest love songs of all time. Right here on WOSD Radio, DB Chicago, WRLN Radio, a radio media station, WBOE, the best of everything, owned by the Professor Reggie Miles, and of course, My Jam Radio. Thank you so much for joining us. Kevin Brooks said, wishing the late Mr. Tyrone Davis a happy birthday. May 4th marks his 88th earthly birthday. Now, it says somewhere else that he was born October 4th. So which one is it? I wish I had the obituary, because we don't know. His parents never married, so his last name was either Branch or Fetston. Fetston. Fetson. Fetston. Anyway, more bedtime stories coming up, but right now, a word from our sponsors.
Night Taco Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. On Wednesday night, $3.50 games from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. And on every first and third Thursday, we have Step and Roll from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. And on every fourth Thursday, we have R&B Roll from 7 p.m. to 12 a.m. And once again, that is Strikes and Bites, located in Lansing, Illinois, at 2524 Ridge Road. To inquire for more, give them a call at 708-474-6707 or visit strikesandbites.com. And you can also check them out on all social media platforms. That's Strikes and 3D's video and editing service and photography too. Have developed a new wave of video and photography. 3D's Video is the only top-tier video and photography company that offers you to view some of your wedding, party, and event pictures and video clip the very next day on our social media pages. That's why 3D's Video and Editing Service is the #1 in the Midwest. We bring affordable video, photography, and superb editing.
Find some more Tyrone Fetston.
3D's Video is the only top-tier photography
There we
company
go.
that actually gives you prints and an 8x10 picture mounted in a frame. With over 20 years of experience, they freeze precious moments in time through great videos, photos, and superb editing. So give them a call at 312.
Kevin Brooks, how's the weather down there in Atlanta? When my sister left Tucson, it was 80 degrees, and she got here, it was 70. The mailman.
Chef here to let you know to check out the Grill and Food Truck. They started in East Chicago, Indiana, but they're now in Indianapolis, Indiana, serving up corporate and social events, pop-up events, festivals, and backyard parties. The Bull Grill and Food Truck has some of the best finger-licking food for your taste buds. Also, there's a variety of custom hamburgers for everyone. So hit us up at 708-785-5950 or follow us on all social media platforms. Bull Grill Food Truck for your food needs and more.
And tell them life coach Jeff sent you. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Alan Greer. If my mother heard me talking like that, this is bedtime stories. She'd slap me upside the head. Anyway, thank you to everyone who came to the Dusty Record Convention on Saturday. That's how you have to say it, Saturday. That's how Richard said it, Saturday. Um, on behalf of Ray Neal Media, thank you so much. We had such a great time. Usually I, would have to leave and come back or leave and do a party. But this time I got a chance to leave and come back and the party was still going on, which I loved. And because I stayed till the end, which was 9 o'clock, and you could see all these pace buses pulling up. Yep, the crowd is getting old. And so are we. So are we, Angie. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. Kevin Brooks said Google is in conflict about his age. It reports both October 3rd and May 4th is Tyrone's birthday. So which one is the real one? We don't know. I'll have to ask around. But either way it goes, happy heavenly birthday to Tyrone Davis, Chicago's own R&B soul and blues master. Here's Are You Serious on Bedtime Stories. Um, mm, 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 mm. Mm, 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 mm. Who's that playing that bass on there? That sounds like Paul Richmond. Two seasons. That was it. Wow. The TV series ran from 1964 to 1966. That was the Addams Family. Now let's look up the Munsters. The Munsters. That was also short-lived. They ran two seasons, 70 episodes. 1964 to 1966. Let's see, Beverly Owen and Pat Priest were both Marilyn Munster. Yep. Al Lewis, aka Grandpa Munster, also starred with Fred Gwynn in Car 54, Where Are You? And he wasn't that old. He just looked old. They just made him up to be, to be old. Because they were all close in age, except for Pat Priest and Butch Patrick, who played Eddie. Yeah. Yeah. What was Grandpa's name in the show? You want to take a crack at that, Kevin? What was Grandpa's real name? Now we know he was Grandpa, but whose Grandpa was he? He was Grandpa to who? Lily? That's just it. So his full name was given as Sam Dracula, Count of Transylvania. Excuse me. He was Lily's grandpa. Now here it says he was uh, the irritable, sarcastic father of Lily Munster, but in the show he was known as Grandpa. You know, so Herman and everybody else referred to him as, you know, he was Lily's daddy. Yeah, he was Lily's daddy. But why did they call him Grandpa? If he's Lily's father, then wouldn't Lily call him dad? Everybody called him Grandpa. His his full name was Sam Sam Dracula. Sam Dracula. Okay. Later on, he became Vladimir Dracula. Yeah. He was also referred to as the Count. They had to put little makeup on Al Lewis because that nose, of course. Yeah, you can't make that up. That was his nose, you know, but yeah, he was Sam Dracula, Lily's father, known as Grandpa. So why was he called Grandpa? If she's Lil, if he was Lily's father, why did they call him Grandpa? You know, only Butch Cassidy, Butch Patrick should have called him Grandpa. But Herman called him Grandpa too. Everybody called him Grandpa. I'm just saying. So once again, if he's Lily's dad, why was he referred to in the show as Grandpa? And of course, the niece was played by two different women, Beverly Owen and Pat Priest. Beverly Owen from episode 1 through 13, and Pat Priest from 14 through 70. One of the voices on there was Mel Blanc. He was the Raven, Charlie the Raven. Never more, never more. That was Mel Blanc. Two in a row from Tyrone Davis. Overdue. And Are You Serious? Right here on Bedtime Stories. The show designed with the lovers in mind, where we put you to bed but never to sleep with the greatest love songs of all time. So we're trying to dissect the Munsters. Now, in the Munsters, there was a character named Grandpa. Grandpa was the father of Yvonne DiCarlo's Lily Munster, but everybody called him Grandpa. Why is that? Why did they call him Grandpa? Even you never heard Lily call him Dad. I'm just saying, you know. So you just, hey. Al Lewis is a black name. He was given the name Grandpa to distract his black identity. Thank you, Kevin Brooks, for that comic relief. Al Lewis, yeah, he was a brother, yeah, but under that makeup, boy, I tell you. So yeah, everybody called him Grandpa. Butch Patrick, who was Eddie Munster, um, Fred Gwynn, who was Herman Munster, he called him Grandpa. Everybody did. So I'm just trying to figure that out why. But his real name in the show was Sam Dracula. Sam Dracula. Not Vladimir Dracula, just Sam Dracula. Here's the first of two in a row from the Blackbirds in black and white on Bedtime Stories. he was Lily's daddy, but they call him Grandpa. Blackbirds. Walking in rhythm. Okay, here's another one. Uncle Fester in the Addams Family. Who was supposed to be Gomez Adams' brother. But he was referred to as Uncle Fester, except by Gomez, who called him Fester. And every now and then, Morticia would call him Fester, but he was Uncle Fester. Grandmama called him Fester, but he was Uncle Fester to everyone else. The niece's name was Marilyn, yeah, in the Munsters. But now we're talking about the Addams Family. So, yeah, we just switch gears. So the Addams Family. Felita Spence, what's going on? Slim Goody. Now, the Addams Family started off as a cartoon. It was in the New Yorker. So of course they had to find people who look like the characters. Gomez and Morticia Adams, their children Wednesday and Pugsley. Yeah. Lily wasn't going to call that Negro daddy, not during the 60s. Come on, Kev. It was good seeing you too, Valita, tonight. She hugged me so tight, I didn't think she's going to let me go. Valita, Slim Goody. Yeah. Anyway, Cousin It. He was developed for the TV show and was not um, part of uh, the cartoon in the New Yorker. So, and of course, Thing. Interesting. Thing. The Thing. Or The Thing, which is his whole name, The Thing, which appears in the Wednesday series. I'm like, Thing is like, he kind of gets around for a hand, you know. Of course, Lurch, played by, what was it, Ted Cassidy. Now, the only person that's still alive from that show is um, is Gomez. Everybody else is gone.
And you're listening to Bedtime Stories.
Yep, everybody else is gone. Let's see who is left in the Adams family. One person. That is John Aston. He is the only one left from the TV series, not the movies. Yep. Who played Cousin It? That's a good question. Let me go to that. Cousin It was played by, I'm about to find it, but I want to say Billy Barty played Cousin It. Oh, Felix Silla. Then he was played by Roger Arroyo, John Franklin, David McMarilla, and Phil Fondacaro. And he had several voices as well. So certain people who voiced him. So, yep. It said he was an occasional guest in the Adams house, entering and exiting through a chimney, which also had his own quarters, which were furnished in proportion to his size. In other words, you would see them in scenes and everybody had to duck down, especially Lurch. They had a tough time, filming Lurch because, they would have the overhead microphones. So, they had to kind of, lift the microphones even higher. So the microphones wouldn't be in the shot. So Cousin It had several actors. Felix Silla was I guess, the most popular one because he played him from 64 to 66 and came back in 77 when they did, Return of the Addams Family. So, yep. But shit, you're going to finish listening to the Blackbirds. Okay, Valita, thank you. I think she likes me. Well, that's a good thing, isn't it? To be loved. Whoa, whoa, what a feeling to be loved. Where is everybody tonight? 9? That's it. Okay. Yeah. No, he wasn't Lily's grandpa, Angie. He was Lily's daddy. But he was just referred to as grandpa. Like Grandpa Dracula. And both shows were in black and white. Now, by 67, 68, they started airing shows in color, but not the Munsters or the Addams Family. They remained in black and white until 1977. So in 77, the return of, then you saw what they really looked like, which was the green makeup for the Munsters. Everybody was green. And in the Addams Family, everybody was very pale white. So, but from those two shows, there's only one person that had outlived everybody, and that's John Aston. He's the only one that's left in the Addams Family who's he was married to Patty Duke at one time. She's gone. I saw John Aston in an episode of Becker. Like, oh wow. Two in a row from the Blackbirds. That is Dreaming of You. Valita Spence says, let me finish listening to the Blackbirds. I said, okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. Off the air, we were talking about the Munsters versus the Addams Family. There's only one person that is still alive from both of those shows, and that's John Aston. He's about 90 years old. He's the only one left from those two shows. Um, but the question is, Grandpa was Lily's father, but why was he called Grandpa in the show? Only one person should have called him Grandpa, and that was Eddie Munster, because that was his grandfather. But everybody else called him Grandpa. He became Grandpa Munster, but he was Lily's daddy. Even Herman called him Grandpa. Oh well. It was the 60s, guys. It was and both shows were in black and white until they had like a reunion of the shows, and then they showed their true colors. Get it? True colors. Happy birthday to brother Mac Miller. This is Solid Love Affair on Bedtime Stories. Your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. Motivation. Okay, I'm back. So why was Grandpa still Grandpa? Lily never called him Dad. At least I don't remember her calling him Dad. You know, hey Dad. He was Sam Dracula. Y'all didn't say nothing about my on-air sign. Look at it. Y'all don't y'all don't pay attention to. Y'all didn't pay any attention to my sign. Look at that. On air. Kind of cool, huh? Like that? You all are the first to see it. Well, actually, it was one other person who was the first to see it. And that's when I took it out of the package. I was like, look, on air. Ah, Al Lewis. Was he really black? Are you just saying that? Uh-uh. Mm. Cousin It appeared in 19 total episodes of the original series and was played by Felix Silla, who was an Italian actor, circus performer, voice artist, movie stuntman. Movie stuntman? What? Like, okay. The character's original heavy costume was constructed with real hair, but changed to a fire retardant synthetic, as smoking was common on the set and real hair was a fire hazard. Sila's instructions were simply to walk around the set, as its voice, provided by sound engineer Tony Magro, was dubbed in post production, and he often had difficulty seeing through the costume. You think? Covered with hair. Human hair. Wow. Mm. Cousin It appears in the new Addams Family, and his vocal effects were provided by Paul Dobson. I don't know who that is. Oh, it's a British born Canadian voice actor. Okay. And It was spelled with two T's. Cousin It. It. Mm. Oh, cut it out, Kevin. Al Lewis lived on 68th and Calumet. That's not the same Al Lewis. You know, it's ironic that that song was recorded by two guys who sang with the Shylights. The first one, by the way, happy birthday to Mac Miller. He sang with the Shylights. Anthony Watson was one of the first to replace Eugene Record in the Shylights. Interesting. And of course, both of them sang, you know, some of the lead songs that Eugene Record used to sing. Solid Love Affair, which was a big hit for him, which got him the job with the Shylights because Marshall Thompson, of course, the boss of the Shylights, heard his voice on that record. He's like, well, he's no Eugene Record, but he's close. Then he was replaced by Frank Reed, also known as Chakala. So, and both of them looked like or sounded like Eugene Record. Frank looked like Eugene Record there. If you look real quickly, you could see him kind of resembling Eugene Record. So that, of course, got him the job. And, of course, he grew up listening to the Shylights, as we all did here in Chicago. Kevin Brooks said back in the 60s, Al Lewis lived on 68th at Calumet. We are not talking about that Al Lewis. Yeah, I know who you talking, but he did not play Grandpa Munster. Hello once again to Valita Spence. Here's Enchantment on Bedtime Stories. A Slim Goody. All about you. You're.
Dip in the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool. I don't know who the woman in the bikini is or how the AI was able to shave 80 pounds off his gut, but everyone looks great. A minute later, at 11:04, he posted this even more unbelievable picture of Melania smiling, which is, I don't know, the last time we saw that. At 11:13, he posted a thinly veiled but definitely racist note about House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, followed 2 minutes later with a warning to Iran that said, I have all the cards and only a bunch of Uno cards, which is a game you win by having no cards. Should be before. This is what happens when you don't play with your children. 11:22, he posted his big gold pumpkin head. 11:26, him photoshopped into Mount Rushmore. 11:32, we've got him and Melania with their hair blowing, no explanation. 11:37 with King Charles, no caption or explanation. Then over the next 8 minutes, he made not one but 3 posts about renovating the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool. And that's 1 hour on a Friday night. The President of the United States. According to the Daily Beast, based on his social media activity, there were only 5 nights last month when the President could have possibly gotten a full night's sleep. Last month, he posted an average of 18 times a day. If you had a relative who was posting 18 times a day, you'd be worried about him, right? You'd be like, what's going on with Cousin Matthew? Is he okay? Now, in fairness, Trump does take nice little naps, mostly during the national security meetings. And he might even be scouting for a place to live after his reign of terror ends. Trump paid a visit to the Villages retirement community near Orlando on Friday, accompanied by 2 of his top TV doctors, Phil and Oz.
We have a man here who knows more about Medicaid, Medicare, medical crap than any human being. Where's Dr. Oz? Where the hell are you, Stephen? He's great. It's the most boring trip I've ever made. He's telling me about Medicare, Medicaid.
Like I give a medic about any of those things. Any terminal care, or any... Ow. You know, there are a lot lot of people suggesting the president's cognitive abilities are beginning to dip. So Trump now, at every chance he gets, brings up that dumb cookie-cutter dementia test that he claims he ate.
I got everyone right. And these are tough questions. These are tough questions, you know. They say take a number, any number. Okay, I'll take 99. Multiply times 9, okay? Divided by 3, good. Add 4,293, that's good. Divide by 2. Subtract 93. Divide by 9. What is your answer? Now they go a little slower than that, but not much. I don't want to waste a lot of time. But there weren't a lot of people that get it right. I got it right, you know?
All right, well, what's the answer then? We're dying to know that. By the way, I have taken this test that he took. It doesn't ask any questions anywhere remotely like that. The hardest math question is subtract the number 7 from the number 60, and then subtract 7 from 53, and so on. There are no story problems, but don't let that get in his way. The man is on a roll.
The first question is, you have a lion, a bit, an alligator, and what's another good? A squirrel. Which is the squirrel? One doctor said, it's the first time I've ever seen anyone get all questions right. What's a doctor? Who does this stuff for a living?
That's right. And you can tell he was a doctor because he was dressed like Jesus. I took this test with a doctor. I answered all 30 questions correct. They're easy questions, and I'm a moron, according to him.
I think anybody running for president or vice president should be forced to take a cognitive examination. I mean, you get a guy, he gets in, he's got a good line of crap, he gets in, and all of a sudden you're stuck with a man who's a moron.
I've heard of it happening twice. I think it's his self-awareness that I admire most. And then it was time for impressions. Rich Little Hands treated the crowds in one of his favorite bits, the now classic lady weightlifter routine.
The father said there's no way she's beating that guy. So she gets up and she puts, and she's ready. Now she's just going to do that front. She's almost home. 1/8 of a pound more. And he said, 1/8, just a tiny little bit. Come on, darling. The mother's screaming like crazy. Darling, I love you, darling. Mom, I can't do it. Oh.
Can we just get him a theater in Branson and be done with this? Just likes to put on a show. His slogan could be, let's go Branson. My favorite part of when he does this bit is when he follows up explaining how much the First Lady doesn't like it.
She hates it when I do the thing on weightlifting. She says it's so unpresidential. And she hates when I dance too at the end too. She hates when I dance to what's sometimes referred to as the gay national anthem, you know. She hates it.
Well, honey, hates when you do things? No way. I can't believe it. What a buzzkill. Why would she hate that? It's so much fun. He's just trying to have fun. We're on week 10 now of what Trump has been referred to as his mini-war on Iran. Week 10 is significant because under the War Powers Resolution, the president is supposed to get
Tony Bosley
for any military action that goes longer than 60 days. We are now above 60 days, but he has no intention whatsoever of getting permission.
Because it's never been done before. There's been numerous, many times that nobody's ever gotten it before. They consider it totally unconstitutional. But we're always in touch with Congress. But nobody's ever sought it before. Nobody's ever asked for it before. It's never been used before. Why should we be different?
And by never, he means 11 times. Congress has to put more. 11 times. It must be so freeing to be able to lie with no fact-checking whatsoever. Just say whatever you want. He's like Fat GPT. He just churns out information. Gas prices are now the highest they've been since the start of the war, at least according to the totally biased fake news at Fox Business. The longer this goes, the worse Trump looks. He desperately needs a way to declare victory and get out of this mess. It would seem that Iran either lost the war or the final round of Family Feud. I'm not sure. Meanwhile, yesterday we got news that Trump's former lawyer and the former mayor of New York, Rudy Giuliani, was hospitalized and is in critical condition. He is said to be recovering from a bout with pneumonia. And when I read this, I really thought, I said, I wonder if they'll try to blame this on me. And then sure enough, one of these podcast bozos points to a joke I made on Rudy on Thursday about him being a vampire, and then suggests I might actually have some inside knowledge of what's going on in Trumptown there. And then that becomes a thing and results in this Newsmax panel formed to somehow pin this on me.
I do want to play a clip, though, from Jimmy Kimmel, who joked about Giuliani rising from the grave just days before the former New York City mayor was rushed to the hospital. Is this supposed to be comedy?
Well, it's not. I don't know what it's supposed to be, but it's not funny. He's not funny. Can I just say that? He's just really not funny. It's abhorrent what he's doing under the gauze of comedy.
Psychic abilities. This is how I work. Every day in the morning, I wake up, I make coffee, and then I look into the future to see which events have yet to occur, and then we write jokes about. We write jokes that we know are going to make trouble. For the record, I hope Rudy Giuliani lives another 100 years. He earned that outside the dildo shop. That was the funniest thing any person has done this century. All right, you guys can take that back to the medic.
Tony Bosley said, "You can't put enchantment without playing forevermore." You got that right. That is one of my favorite songs by Enchantment. Now, I know EJ personally. Of course, none of you all would believe me if I told you that. I know EJ from Enchantment, Gerald Austin from the Manhattans. Who else? Brown from Ray Goodman and Brown. And people, yeah, sure you do. Yeah. Do they remember you though? Well, a few weeks ago, Russell Tompkins Jr. of the Stylistics came up to me and referred to me as Doc. So maybe I don't know them like I proclaim to know them. But all I know is in about 12 minutes, it'll be time for foreplay. Right now, the Sultan of bedtime music. That's right. The maestro, Barry White. Don't call him the Walrus of Love. He won't answer to that. Kind of like me not answering to DJ. Here's staying power on Bedtime Stories. Boom, boom, boom. Tony Bosley, what's going on, Boz? T-Boz? Don't call me T-Boz. I'm not in TLC. Okay. And nor does he talk like that. So I remember I was dating this young lady, and she asked me out of the blue, you want to go see Barry White? I was like, hell yeah. Is the Pope from Chicago? Hell yeah. So I saw Barry White at the United Center. Barry wasn't doing too well. I finally got a chance to see him. And it was like he was dragging behind the music. I don't know if he was trying to be cool or what, but the music was playing and he was like behind the music. And I don't mean BET, behind the music. So he was just lagging, You know, they were the first, the last. I'm like, catch up, catch up, man. I'm like, dang. I finally get a chance to see him, and he's just dragging behind the music. I'm like, come on, Daddy, catch up, come on. And that was it. The first, my last. You know, then he would come in, you know. Dun, 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 dun. You know, it's like, dang. I waited too late to see him. This was like, you know, his twilight years, like right before he, you know, I was like, oh man, no, no, Barry. But otherwise, I enjoyed it because it was Barry White. I was like, I didn't care. He was standing on stage, you know, long ponytail, you know, beard with enough Beijing in it to cover my head twice. I'm just saying. And, you know, he had a handkerchief in his hand, you know. He was sweating profusely. Now, those of you who have ever seen Barry White in concert, he doesn't move. He doesn't move. He's either at the piano or he's standing still, singing with the handkerchief. Long flowing coat, long ponytail, either Beijing or just for men in his beard, and he don't move. So why was he sweating so much? I was like, I read somewhere where they said that Elvis Presley would take these pills so that he could sweat on stage. Okay. So he told this secret to Jackie Wilson. He said, the women love it when you sweat. I was like, oh, secret to Jackie Wilson. He said, the women love it when you sweat. I was like, oh. Yeah, they think it's sexy. You ball up your handkerchief and throw it out into the audience to a woman, and they're like, ah! I've got, you know, Jackie Wilson or Elvis's sweat on me. I'm like, oh my goodness.
It's Al Greer with Bedtime Stories.
Which way is up? Tony Bosley, what's been going on, man? I haven't seen you in a while. At least not on Facebook. I haven't seen you. Ooh, let me put the new commercials in. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Sent. Jelly Roll. The Maestro Barry White. Which Way is Up? One of the last songs that he did right here on Bedtime Stories. With the Peanut Butter Brother, Dr. Al Greer. We are WOSD Radio, DB Chicago. WRLN Radio, a radio media station. WBOE, the best of everything. And My Jam Radio, which is owned by Mike Brown, also known as Mike Breezy. 4 players next here on Bedtime Stories.
At the Art of Life Gala, a breast cancer fundraiser in Chicago. Join us for a night of art, music, healing, and hope, supporting breast cancer awareness, survivor programs, education, and research. June 20th, 5 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. at Zal B Art Center at 1029 West 35th Street in Chicago, Illinois. Enjoy music by DJ Runnell, hosted by Barbara Giles. And don't forget to wear pink, bring hope, and make an impact. Get your tickets and donate now at Eventbrite. For more information, call 773-993-7324. That's 773-993-7324. The Art of Life Gala, June 20th, 5 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. at Zal B Art Center, 1029 West 35th Street in Chicago, Illinois. Remember, together we turn awareness into action. Presented in partnership with WCHI Biggs Radio, Chicago.
Cannon Productions, LLC presents a Mother's Day Love Concert featuring Carlos Cannon, Chicago's finest smooth jazz saxophonist, and his live band. with a special guest comedian. Sunday, May 10th at the Lester L. Long Fieldhouse, 14700 Everett Street in Dalton, Illinois. It's Carlos Cannon with music by DJ Mac. Doors open at 4:30. Showtime at 5:30 p.m. For reservations, call 773-500-9943. That's 773-500-9943. It's a Mother's Day dinner with Chicago's finest smooth jazz saxophonist, Carlos Cannon, at the Lester L. Long Fieldhouse, 14700 Everett Street in Dalton, Illinois. For reservations, call 773-500-9943. Do something nice for your mom for Mother's Day. Sponsored by Cannon Productions, LLC. Sunday, May 10th. It's a red and white affair. Mother's Day extravaganza. Starring Soul Street Collective. Featuring Reginald Hughes. And hosted by Mr. Lee at Brittany's Event Center, 5101 Washington Street in Gurnee, Illinois. Doors open at 5:30. Showtime at 7 p.m. Tickets are available at Lomari Hair Salon, 3443 Sunset Avenue in Waukegan. There'll be dinner, live entertainment, and a male fashion show. That's Sunday, May 10th, Mother's Day, the Red and White Mother's Day Extravaganza, starring Soul Street Collective, featuring Reginald Hughes and hosted by Mr. Lee at Brittany's Event Center, 5101 Washington Street in Gurnee. For ticket information, call 847-782-9757. 847-782-9757. Tickets are just $60. And tell them Blaze Radio sent you.
And the other radio station, too. That's us, WOSDradio.com. It is time for foreplay. They were a husband and wife songwriting, production, and recording duo. And they started writing songs for people like Ray Charles. They did Let's Go Get Stoned for Ray Charles. They did, Josie Armstead's Stone Good Lover. And they just wrote a bunch of songs for a lot of people, for Chuck Jackson, Maxine Brown. But they hit their stride at Motown when they started writing duets for Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell. They would sing their parts to them, and of course they would reproduce them. One of their best known songs was a song that they did twice, and that was Ain't No Mountain High Enough. The first one was done by Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell. Later on, they recorded it on The Boss Diana Ross, which became probably one of the best songs ever. That was one of the greatest, as my mic goes out, one of the greatest arrangements ever by Paul Reiser, who did all the arrangements for Motown Records. Some of those songs were redone not only by other artists, such as Aretha Franklin. She did You're All I Need to Get by herself, and Ain't Nothing Like the Real Thing. But they wrote the national anthem for all women everywhere, I'm Every Woman. Yes, they did that. Either the lyrics or the music was written by either Ashford or Simpson. Ashford, of course, was born on this day back in 1941. Valerie Simpson started her career as a songwriter as well, and her first big hit was Silly, which was probably one of the best 2 minutes ever heard, and I'm going to play her song as well. But tonight in Foreplay, we celebrate Mr. Nicholas Ashford, who was born in Fairfield, South Carolina. Yep. And of course, he moved to Ypsilanti, Michigan, where he became a member of the Christ Temple Baptist Church. So he sang there, and then he met a very young Valerie Simpson, and like I said, the rest was history. And together They made musical masterpieces. I wanted to say something else, but yeah, it was magical. That's what I wanted to say. Magical masterpieces for Marvin Gaye, Tammy Terrell, Shaka Khan, Teddy Pendergrass redid Is It Still Good to You? What can be said about this group? Tonight we feature in Foreplay the music of Ashford and Simpson. Happy heavenly birthday to Nicholas Ashford. This is Bedtime Stories Foreplay. Ooh, excuse me. Squeeze me, squeeze me. That's it. I've had to sell some of my equipment. so satisfied. I'm back. Ugh. My favorite part of the song.
Let's do some foreplay with Al Greer on Bedtime Stories.
Send it. Send it. Open up the window. Growls pert what? Oh, by the way, guys, if I didn't tell you earlier, I found Lady G. She just didn't have a phone, so I just couldn't find her. So I ended up going to her house, and they let they let me in the building. This one guy was like, "Hey, you got to call first." I'm like, she doesn't have a phone, sir." Some old guy with pigtails. I guess he's a big fan of Snoop Dogg's or something. I'm like, sir, if she had a phone, I'm sure she'd answer it, but she doesn't, and I need to find out if she's okay. So because I was walking in with these other people. Is he with you? And they're like, no, okay, close the door. I said, okay. So luckily somebody came by who had some sense instead of this knucklehead with these braids and a tracksuit on. I'm like, ooh, top flight security of the world. So I finally got in there. The guy took me upstairs to her apartment, and she opened the door, and there she was. I was, she was, I guess, surprised because, once again, she didn't have a phone, so I wasn't able to contact her for her to buzz me up. But Dodo didn't know that, nor was he trying to let me in. It's like, okay, Dodo. And I know he knew who I was because I've seen him before. I know he knew who I was, but I got in, I saw her, we talked for a while, and that was it. Said goodbye. I said, get a phone, So I had to go through this anymore with boo boo for brains, you know. Wannabe security. Mm-mm. I'm like, really? Okay, sir. Are you here to protect everyone in the building? Who's going to protect you? So that was it. Excuse me for chewing. But that's the only way I can digest my food. So that was it. But for those of you who've been trying to contact Lady G, she's okay. I saw her today. And she's all good. She was talking about falling apart. I'm like, welcome to that world that we know of as getting old. So, yeah. So we're just all getting old. Give it to me straight now. Ooh, it got warm in here. It was warm today. It's slowly creeping up to summertime. I wonder if they're going to have James Earl Jones as the voice of Darth Vader, because he lent his voice so that they could AI his voice and, voice to live forever.
Foreplay with Al Greer on Bedtime Stories.
Ooh, it's a blank space there. I need to put something there. So it can fall down. Yes. There we go. See how long it'll stay up here. Crazy. Ooh, I'm back.
Al Greer on Bedtime Stories.
waited. Time. Silly. Silly. Oh, forgot to send out my good nights. Silly. Wrapping up foreplay on Ashford and Simpson. And of course, Valerie Simpson in a remix of Silly, done back in 1970, I believe. Yeah. It was way too short. It was only like 2 minutes and 30 seconds, but it had a lasting impact. And it was the beginning of their collaborating with other artists who were on Motown. They wrote beautiful songs. Anyway, one of those songs was done by the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin. And it's my favorite version of this song. Ain't Nothing Like the Real Thing from the Queen. Not like the real thing.
This is Miss Delicious, and you're listening to my big.
Ooh, Chipotle. Haven't had Chipotle in a while. Nicole Byer, that's who that was. Wow. Y'all didn't see that fall down, did you? Yeah, you did. Barry Gordy did not like the spoken intro to that song. It was just too long. As a matter of fact, they cut it down for radio to like 3.5 minutes and took the whole spoken verse out. Left it on the album though. Probably one of the best arrangements ever, next to anything that came out of the album What's Going On. Yeah. Dinah Ross, Ain't No Mountain High Enough, the LP version, that's the long version that is, written by Ashford and Simpson. They hit twice with the same song. Same song, different artist. Ain't No Mountain High Enough, and of course, Ain't Nothing Like the Real Thing. Both songs, of course, written by Ashford and Simpson, as well as this one, which was also written by them. This is Landlord on Bedtime Stories. The landlord and the keeper of our love.
Night times just got better with the original Peanut Butter Brother. That's what we call him. Al Greer and Bedtime Stories on WOSTRadio.com.
also written by Ashford and Simpson. Still Such a Thing Called Love, right here on Bedtime Stories. With your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. I forgot one of the birthdays. How could I? How could I forget this birthday? They were born on the same day, of course, years apart. One is the matriarch of the group, the Jacksons, and the other was the oldest of the Jacksons. And that, of course, was Jackie Jackson, who was also born on this day. So we can't forget them because they're like the hottest ticket right now, right? Hear the Jacksons and Blues Away on Bedtime Stories. Ooh, I can breathe now. It's a miracle.
He's the love doctor, and his prescription is music. Bedtime stories with Al Greer.
This is love. If you haven't seen the movie yet, go see the movie. As a matter of fact, come take me to see the movie. The Jacksons and Time waits for no one. Happy birthday to Jackie Jackson and also to Catherine, who bore all of those children. All 9 of them. Yeah, 9. Um, one of them was a twin and he didn't make it. That was Marlon and Brandon. Brandon didn't make it, so it would have been the Jackson 6, 7. Okay. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching me on Facebook. Valita Spence, Tony Bosley, Deron Williams, Henry Cooper, my sister from another Mr. Angie Martin Turner, and just everyone. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all. We'll do it again tomorrow, God willing, and the creek don't rise, right here on Bedtime Stories. Also, a special good night going out to Valita Spence. Did I say her name? Yes, I did. I said it twice. Good night to Auntie Monique, not to be confused with Monique Love. Thank you so much. Till next time, blue skies, green lights, and peace. Good night, Monique. Love, that is. Mm-mm-mm-mm. And that's that. That is a wrap. Good night, everybody.